In Parsha Devarim, it says when Moshe Rabbeinu was going over the story of the Meraglim, the story that we are entering Tisha B'Av in terms of the actual calendar date, and of course another day away from the day we commemorate Tisha B'Av, and he recounts the story of the Meraglim, of how we got into this incredibly difficult situation and had this day reverberate throughout Jewish history in a negative way. And he says, in terms of what Klal Yisrael was thinking, he says, "Vatirognu bo'lechem." You said lashon hara in your tents. "V'tomru b'sinas Hashem oisanu hotzionu me'eretz Yisrael." An incredible statement that Klal Yisrael made. Moshe Rabbeinu says, what you said was HaKadosh Baruch Hu hated us. That's why he took us out of Mitzrayim, to put us into the hands of the Amori to destroy us. This is something that is incredibly hard to fathom. HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates us. I mean, there isn't anybody who can't spend just a few minutes learning Mesilas Yesharim and start appreciating every breath that we have, the incredible gift of life that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. No matter what the situation we might be in, how fortunate we are to have the gift of life, the gift of being able to do a mitzvah. And when you think about Klal Yisrael during this time, the ability to be free, the leaving Mitzrayim, and the incredible miracles that they went through in the Midbar, and Kriyas Yamsuf, and of course the Makos, they went through so much, experienced so much, they saw so much. How do intelligent people, how could it be that you can actually feel that HaKadosh Baruch Hu hates us? It seems like an unthinkable and unimaginable place to be. And Rashi, it gives us a little bit more of an insight in terms of the projection that they thought HaKadosh Baruch Hu hated us, because in reality we hated HaKadosh Baruch Hu because we resented the mitzvos, and we did not appreciate what HaKadosh Baruch Hu had done for us. It shows us, and of course through that the lashon hara came, through that the inability and the lack of accepting the fact that we, of course, could go into Eretz Yisrael, and all of the things unraveled as a result of this relationship and this view of ourselves. Like HaKadosh Baruch Hu hated us, and yes, they felt guilty about the sins in Mitzrayim, but it's really almost unimaginable. But the point is, it could happen. And we see from here, if Moshe Rabbeinu points this out, the idea of how we have to see ourselves, the way we look at ourselves. Am I somebody worthy of love? Am I somebody worthy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's favor? The self-image is such a critical component. If Moshe Rabbeinu is pointing this out, that means if we don't have a positive view of ourselves, we don't really appreciate who we are and how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us. If we can somehow distort our minds to this kind of thinking, that can literally unravel our entire relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and can lead to this horrific avera that we are still suffering from till this point. So it's not just an issue of our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's certainly a critical component. But of course, this very view of the self-image of what we have, how we see ourselves, and how we relate to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how we think HaKadosh Baruch Hu relates to us, this is paramount also in terms of Edom L'Chavero. We know that this is a critical point of the 3 weeks and the focus of the Avas Chinam that we have to develop. The Pasuk says, V'aftarecha kamocha. The Pasuk speaks about loving a fellow Jew as yourself, meaning that there is an inherent expectation of loving yourself. And our job is to love everyone else around us like we love ourselves. We have to have this self-love. We have to have this appreciation for who we are and recognize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu indeed does love us. That's what gives us a sense of importance. That's what gives us a sense of being in the fight and then looking of avodas Hashem and of striving for spirituality, and that's what allows us to look at our neighbor and say, this is somebody that I love and that I have to go out of my way for, because if I'm worthy and they're worthy, and we are brothers, we're one Klal Yisrael, we're one people. So Bez Hashem, to focus on this important point, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, no matter what we did, no matter who we are, we still have this incredible relationship, the Tzelem Elokim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the notion that how crazy it is that we can come to this kind of thinking, but you see it's possible. You see that this is where the twisted mind could go, and this is where unfortunately we did go back in the unfortunate night of Leil Tisha B'Av, by the night of the Meraglim. So Bez Hashem, let us rectify this problem. Let's work on the Avas Hashem. Let's work on the appreciation of how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us. Let's work on the After Acha Kamochem, Bez Hashem, and that's Chus. We will rectify the sinas chinam that brought us to this position, and Bez Hashem, and that's Chus Bizocha, the ultimate Gula, which be as Mashiach Meher Yemenu.